the loss?
For me, I don't think it was a relief other than I knew I wasn't going to have to talk about a back-to-back undefeated season anymore. So I wasn't going to have to answer that question. But I will tell you, a part of the worry for me of being undefeated up to that point, even the year before, was their reaction to that first loss. But I had hoped that we had talked about, let's be a new baseball team every time a new baseball game starts. Let's try to really do the things that we want to do to win baseball games, and let's try to do those every single game. And so that next day after the loss, and it wasn't going to be easy because I think we played Coppell the next day. But man, they came to the park, and I didn't see heads down. But I just don't think that a back-to-back undefeated season was their goal.
No, sir. I mean, even the best teams that have ever played the game, I mean, to even consider going undefeated, I mean, you might think about it on a football team where you have, 12, 13, 14, 16 games on a road to a state title, but to win 37, 40 games, no one really expects that.
No, and really, before the season started this past year, I told them, I said, I'm going to be honest, I said, last year was unbelievable, but I don't think that I'm expecting you to go undefeated this year. But what I am expecting you to do is show up to every game and play it the right way and play it the way that you've played it in the past that's allowed us to win all those games. And if you do that, and we may lose a few, that's okay. That's okay. That's baseball.
Head football coach Todd Rogers, an athletic director here at Argyle. You all are close friends. You've been working together for a long time. I'm going to put you on the Argyle hot seat.
Okay.
What do you prefer, coaching baseball or football?
I prefer baseball, but football is not something else I do as a baseball coach. I take a lot of pride in being a good football coach and being educated on how the game and the secondary play, how that's evolved, and our team counts on us having a good secondary. So I take my job really seriously.
What has it meant to the town of Argyle and the community? It's grown a lot since the years you've been here.
Yep.
What is the current population here in the Argyle community?
I could not tell you. I think, though, that we're going to be, when they do the new count, as far as the school count goes, we're going to be still in the 900s, I believe, which should keep us in 4A for another 2 years.
Yeah, that's surprising with all the growth and the housing around here, but it just goes to show how small a community it's been for a long time, and very nice agricultural.
Sure.
Some baby farms for folks that are listening right now. It's a great area just north of Dallas-Fort Worth, beautiful part near Denton, Texas. What has it meant to the town and the program to repeat and win your third title in 5 years?
I think for sure, for us it was, the community, basically, when they said yes to the bond, and that bond was a really nice turf baseball facility, and I'm talking not just a new field, but new bleachers and press box, and the community basically told us that they believed in us as a program by pushing that bond through. And so, man, when they built that, and what we get to practice and play on, I was so excited to be able to give back and be able to, for our team to make the accomplishments that they have. And I just felt like that was us giving back and saying thank you for the community to believe in our program.
It is advantageous for a program to have turf. It gets a little warm this time of year, but you're not out there playing baseball in August right now. There might be some local teams that get out there and practice. But during inclement weather and the rainy season, you just don't miss a whole lot of practice. You're out there doing the things you need to do to prepare.
We're going to get our work in every day. There's not going to take any days off. We're going to be able to. Well, they've given us the facilities to be able to prepare, and then it's our jobs as coaches, me and my staff, to make sure that we're utilizing those great facilities and making sure our kids are ready.
Going back to Austin, was there anything different about this trip this team, there wasn't a whole lot of differences in the team than in 2018?
No, I mean we knew how to do it. We went down there and when they told us the seedings, we knew what was ahead of us. We knew that it was we were going to have to play. If we were able to get by Lavernia, we're going to probably have to see Swinney again, and then with Swinney, they pitched their number 2 in the semifinals, in the state semifinals. We knew that their ace was waiting for us in the state championship, and you very seldom see any teams do that. They're going to pitch their number 1 in the semis to make sure they get to that state championship game. Right. So, but even then, I mean, the kids were relaxed. Between how much we've traveled with these kids and as much travel ball as they play in the summer, staying in a hotel is second nature for them. They know how to act. They're not running up and down the hallways. I do your normal bed checks like if they were in college and college playing baseball. We're going to do wake up calls. We're going to do bed checks, but there's problems. I just don't have them.
Night before that championship game, as you're making those bed checks, could you tell a lot of kids, or very many of them, were wound up and were going to have trouble sleeping, or were they all fairly calm?
Most of them were playing baseball on the video games. It was truthfully, it was probably as important to them as anything they've had in their lives, but you would not be able to tell.
Dylan Carter gets the save and the MVP award. Sean Bolin gets the win on the mound in that championship game. I know you don't like to single any players out. It does take an Army of 9 to win a championship, and sure, multiple role players. But Preston King, Austin King, Chad Ricker, Bo Hogaboom, and Dylan Carter all named to the All-Tournament Team.
Right.
What can you say about that nucleus of players right there?
Well, those are all, really, I think somebody sent me a thing that said, I think it may have been Rick Renner talked about the murderer's row, and he just went through our lineup and looked at all the commits and all of the guys that had signed. You have in that list, you have Bo Hogaboom, who was our quarterback here in football on the football team.
Yeah, very talented multi-sport athlete.
Yeah, I mean, I started out at the first of the season kind of rotating him. He wasn't happy about it, but I wanted to push him a little bit, and just like I knew he would, he his talent came to the top, and he was DH'd for the most of the year. Now he's going to be. I have to have him do more than DH this next year, but just those type of players, it didn't matter. He was a 9-hole, and but he didn't just do that in the state championship game. He led us through the playoffs. I mean, those guys turned it on. Him and Merca and Gonzalez, all at the bottom of that lineup as all juniors. They carried us a lot of games in the playoffs.
That's what you see at any level. Some of the most memorable College World Series in Omaha or World Series. I remember watching some video of the Big Red Machine. Sometimes it's that role player that maybe is batting in the 8 or 9 hole,
right,
or a pinch hitter.
Sure.
Remember Kirk Gibson for
Absolutely.
the LA Dodgers. If he got a hit, he couldn't even make it to first base,
right,
but just has something unique and special about him deep inside. Yeah. That they can make a difference and contribute to their team.
Sure. We had that happen. Had that happen all year. And we had guys that they didn't want to see. Like they didn't want to see. They may not have wanted to see Dixon come to the plate. So, but they didn't want to pitch around him because Clearman's sitting there waiting, or Ricker. It was just that type of a lineup.
Kenny Arthur and Blake Jones do a great job with the Argyle broadcast. I found myself, I was actually out of the country, and through the miracle of technology was tuned in to your playoff run and then the state championship game. It's really unique. What a special thing that the media and how Argyle has grown into this really a media powerhouse as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they do a great job with all sports. You're going to see them doing basketball, and they do. Well, I mean, we have so much success in all sports here that those guys, they do a great job for every sport. But there's a lot of opportunities to broadcast really big playoff games because there's so much of that going on around here.
When you came to Argyle in 2007, your son Storm was a young freshman here. You've seen him grow and develop as a player, going on to play college ball at Southeastern Oklahoma. And now to come back and coach with you on this staff must be really special.
It is. It was, he was just this past year. He was he was finishing up his certification, but because he hadn't finished it up yet, they hired him as a special education aide full time. So because he was full time, Coach Rogers allowed him to volunteer as a baseball assistant, and so. Yeah, that was an unbelievable year. And then he finished up his certification, and then now they've just this past summer they hired him full time. So now he's full time football, full time baseball for us. So I'm excited for him.
Now, as coaches, any disagreement in philosophy or how you handle a player situation?
Nope. He
pretty well aligned.
He knows. Yeah, he knows that who's going to make the call, but he's confident in himself. Just like a lot of my assistant coaches are, and if they see something and they think that what I'm doing, they could have a better idea of how to do it better, I want them to challenge me.
Storm spends a lot of time with the pitchers and catchers. Being successful on the mound is as much mental as physical sometimes. Based on your success, he is doing a lot of the right things to get your staff prepared.
Oh yeah, he does a great job. Now I'll tell you that the guy that is Coach Stinson is our pitching guy. He is my main assistant. He's been with me through all the state championships, and just got named by National Baseball Coach Association as the assistant coach of the year in our region, and all of that is so well deserved. That guy, he's been a head coach in the past, and he brings so much baseball knowledge to us, and he's a hard-nosed coach where I'm a softy, I'm a soft-hearted.
Yeah, you balance each other out well.
I'm soft-hearted, hug the kids, and he's a get after them, and they still love him, but you have to have that. And so pitching wise, Storm, that is where that's where his knowledge is, but I think he's learned so much more from Coach Stinson than he has me just in a year. And
you have Coach Jake Fisher on your staff as well that complements the entire program.
Sure, and Coach Fisher's, you want the ultimate bench coach. He's it. He's every kid would love to hang out with Coach Fisher. He's the perfect guy to have. Keeps everything happening the right way in the bench. So yeah.
You're focused on competing for a state title in football right now. However, to look ahead for the 2020 baseball season, what do you have coming back and the opportunity to three-peat?
Yeah, I'm excited, first of all. Somebody I hadn't talked about, but, our number 2 all year long this past year was Tate Van Poppel. That's that kid probably – if anybody had a gripe about anything the whole season, it probably would have been him, because I pitched bowling in the semifinal game, but and that was because he had so much experience. He had pitched in a state championship or a state semifinal game the year before, and I just decided to go with him on the mound. But as far as numbers and who had been our number 2 all year, he was undefeated on the mound. I think his a 1.4 ERA going in, and just he's a lot like his dad, not with the velocity yet, but it's like he throws a shot put. It knocks the catcher's glove off. He throws a real heavy ball just like his dad did. And
we're talking about his dad, Todd Van Poppel, former Major League Baseball pitcher. I believe he played some here for the Rangers, and that's how he ended up actually Arlington, one of the Arlington High School.
Exactly, that's where he went to high school, actually.
Yeah. So good stuff there.
And he's so talking about somebody coming back, you start with him just because you're talking about having an ace coming back. He's ready for that role, I can promise you.
Coach, I know you're humble, and it's not about you or the accolades or the individual titles, but one thing that I think is that you're very proud of, an honor you just received is being recognized by your peers at the American Baseball Coaches Association as National Coach of the Year.